You're a brony.
Yep, that I am.
You mentioned My Little Pony earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us, please, for those who don't understand, I'm not a brony. Lory is a brony. Right? Tell those who don't know what bronies are, what a brony is.
Well, a brony, and before I go any further, this doesn't just apply to guys. Okay? There was a term that was applied to women before, but realistically, it's a bit silly and we shouldn't be gender-specificing anything. A brony is anyone who's outside the original target demographic, as some people would say, of the 5 to 6-year-old girl. Now,
That likes My Little Pony.
Friendship is magic. However, you'll find people who have liked the show back since the early 80s.
Right.
The pilot in the 80s was actually okay compared to the rest of the show. The worst series was the third generation and 3.5. People find that the worst ever when they see images about it.
Okay, so let's just stay on track to you're a fan of this particular run, this generation of My Little Pony.
Yep.
You find completely different and more accessible to adults, and bronies all feel the same way.
There is a lot of more Animaniac-style adult comedy here and there, especially when we come to certain situations. Like, there's alcoholic references made as jokes, for example.
Yeah.
We also get something that's a little bit more Looney Tunes-esque, so anyone who's like Looney Tunes, with Pinkie Pie, she's completely a Looney Tune, breaking the fourth wall almost constantly and doing crazy stuff that none of the characters can explain.
So instead of it being kids-specific, it's more family-orientated.
Yes.
So that
adults can get into it.
It can be understood on
kids.
2 levels. Kids can enjoy the lower level, adults can enjoy the upper understanding levels.
Exactly.
Now, I've noticed that a lot of the people that go to the conventions, and you went to the convention at Manchester, the Buck event.
Yeah, BronyCon UK, first one ever.
I've noticed that, and we've got a load of footage of that and its own playlist, playlist on screen, all the good stuff. I've noticed that a lot of the people around you, there were actually younger sort of teens or early 20s.
There is those. You will find people in their 30s to 40s as well.
Right.
I mean, even John Delancey, who does the voice of Discord, said that if he was younger, he would probably be considering himself to be a brony.
Okay.
But considering he's like, I don't know what his age is actually, to be honest, but I remember when he was Q, and compared to what he looks like now, wow, he must have had a serious. Must be quite a lot older than I expected him to be. Probably like 50s at least.
Okay.
But damn, he's still got got a good voice for acting.
Well, it's caused a bit of controversy because people seem to be misunderstanding your behaviour.
Yep.
But you are quite radical in your behaviour, aren't you?
Yes, there are.
Compared to other fans.
There are some out there that are really radical.
Because there's the cosplay elements when it's men dressing as little girl ponies.
The argument I can make here, and even though it's a very minor argument, to be honest, there is a severe lack of male characters in the show that are named in the show. Hasbro have named them, but you only find their names on cards that are produced via blind bags or something else, and you have to go to a wiki site to even find out about this.
Wouldn't it be an idea, then, just to not do the cosplay bit?
That's why I don't, and if I was to, I'd go as a male character.
See, can you understand in some respects why some of this brony stuff is causing a bit of attraction?
I can understand it.
Now, I'm not homophobic or anything like that, but I've got to admit,
Gay rights parade.
A lot of that convention footage, it did look like some sort of gay rights event.
Yes, well, there are a lot of people who are doing a lot more radical stuff than even I could say. That's beyond what I would do. I mean, yes, I am a brony, but this is a lot further than I would even take it myself. I mean, if I was to cosplay, it'd be obviously as a male character that has been named. And there's like 3 I can tell you straight off the top of the head that I would probably go for, but I'm not going to bother with that, to be honest.
No. So, what are some of the common terms that are found in brony circuits?
Well, for starters, there's replacement words.
Yes.
Like, everyone, or at least everybody, gets replaced to every pony.
Yes.
Then there's something that makes really no sense to me, because this is just completely silly. Boys and girls is basically fillies and colts. However, ladies and gentlemen is changed to fillies and gentle colts. So I'm like, that one doesn't make sense to me. And don't get me started on the royal wedding situation, where Princess Celestia says, I now pronounce you mare and colt. That's basically saying, yeah, adult character marrying a 4-year-old child. Because that's what a colt and a filly are, 4-year-old freaking horses.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
You see, these are things that I don't get, and I'm one of the fans, so it's a bit too far even for me. I don't go around actively using this terminology.
Yeah.
It's actually... Oh god, there's a Chrome download where you can ponyify your freaking browser so it automatically changes the words. Yeah.
Isn't it understandable to some extent then why there's so much hate attracted?
Haters are going to hate. Just in general, even if we weren't so over the top. Because we're adults watching a kids show, which means, oh, we're guys, we're watching a show for girls, we are gay.
Now, you see, I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with adults watching a kids show. You know,
Powerpuff Girls, this is Lauren Faust.
Yeah.
It's the exact same producer. And Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
There are merits to the show the little bit that I've seen of the show. You know, it's entertaining, but you know, I don't think there's anything against watching a thing because I mean, it's like
that's just it. Too many people have the problem with the fact we are watching it.
It's like tuning into Winnie the Pooh. It's just a classic, nice story with elements that you can appreciate. You know, there's something warm and old-fashioned and proper about it. The values behind it. Sometimes as adults we maybe start to lose sight of these things and become cynical and embittered in our ways.
But the worst thing is, I've been called a pedophile because I watched the show.
Well, that's the kind of negative things that go on.
That's the thing I don't get why people are just hating us because we watch the show. I can understand why they might hate us because we are going out there and making all these...
I think hate's a strong word.
But then again, on the fact that people are cosplaying...
They shouldn't hate, should they, really?
Well, no. But here's the thing. You know how you're saying about the cosplaying?
Yeah.
Even in anime conventions...
Yeah.
I have heard people going as... Girls going as guys and guys going as girls there. Because that... I mean, I had someone on DeviantArt, for example. She's got blonde hair and very long hair at that front. She could have gone as either Ino from Naruto Shippuden or Deidara because of the way her hairstyle is. She could go as either one.
Right.
But she's a girl, so why go as a male character? Oh. People could have a go at you for that because you're going as something that's not your gender.
It worked out for Zelda. So, anyway.
Oh dear.
Alright, so if we... I mean, I would say that I find some of the elements, like the cosplay, certain elements of the cosplay, because that's always slightly disturbing me anyway.
Yeah, well...
At the best of times.
Disturbing. Enough, yes, well, technically, the guy who was in the cosplay dressed as Fluttershy, an argument could be made there he was actually cosplaying as a Tumblr character who is called Flutter Guy.
Right. Okay.
This is where the Tumblr and just random stuff appears, where people take the characters and overdo things beyond that. Like, for example, there's a nice little piece of fan fiction called Cupcakes, which involves Pinky going crazy and becoming Pinkamena.
Explain the plot.
The plot? You mean plot? Plot? Not the plot of the show, but the other version?
What about brony terminology?
Ah, yes, the plot. Oh dear. Yes, there's a little joke that some people will say, yes, that I watch it for the plot. Now, anyone who's watched this, you will not deny it, there is a lot of rare shots. Yeah.
There is actually a massive brony sexual circuit, isn't there?
Let me direct you to John Jusko's Princess Celestia Tumblr right about here. And here.
Rule 34 of the internet?
Yeah, kind of. It's not as bad, but JJ is pretty interesting on that front, considering he also has... I knew about John Jusko a long time before I was a brony, because he had a comic strip online called The Lounge. Anyone who's read that will probably know why. I mean, JJ is as he is.
Right.
Because that involves 2 lesbian characters, and he has quite a definition to go into graphic detail.
Okay. Well, there is that massive element then of pony porn.
Yes, that. But then again, if you just check Rule 34 in general,
yeah,
it applies to everything.
But
and I don't just mean that. There's people who've applied it to Pokemon.
Couldn't it then be argued that there is then a bit of Japanese-like, anime-like element of paedophilic kind of tendency in the same way that the Japanese with the schoolgirl little kids,
the whole thing with Japan, yeah, it's called
Lolita pony girls.
With Japan, it's called Lolita complex, and that's considered minorly acceptable in Japan, as far as I'm aware. I'm not going to say anything that it is acceptable, because as far as I'm aware, it is somewhat acceptable, so long as people aren't acting on it and doing proper paedophilic things. I don't know. But yes, on the Rule 63 front, Rule 63 is a completely different thing altogether. We're on about Rule 34 here. I'm not going to go into Rule 63. Rule 34, in pony terminology, it's called clopping. Or people called cloppers.
Yes.
Sound effect, anybody? That's why. Yes, even filmfiction.net has its own section.
I'm sorry, but some of the...
Oh, and by the way, most of the writers of that are women.
Some of the brony stuff is annoying. Like, bro hoof.
Yes. It's basically bro fist. With hooves.
Come the fuck on.
It's another term.
Bro fist is stupid.
Yes.
That's stupid in the first place. So to then put an extra layer of stupid on top of it, it's like a stupid... It's like a trifle of stupid. It's got layers of different kinds of stupid.
But then again, if you remember the silliness of the kids react to My Little Pony, bro hoof, don't they have to do that with their feet? They have 4 feet, for God's sakes. Yeah. They're ponies. They do it with their 4 hooves.
Yeah, well,
so that in technical terminology for humans is hands.
Well, no, actually...
Oh, dear God, don't get me started on what the fan cannon is like. There's Lyra. She's a mint green unicorn with a lyre cutie mark, which is basically to say she's good at playing instruments with strings in that particular type of instrument. And the fans, because she is sat on a bench when one scene, just one scene, sat on a bench, like we are sat now as a human. She's slouching on a bench like a human. The fans have picked up on that and said, right, headcanon, Lyra is obsessed with humans. Yeah, and she's in a lesbian relationship with Bon Bon. Because she's always seen with her. Yeah, exactly.
Right, we're going to drop this here, because I'm starting to feel nauseous.
Yeah, this is why it gets...
Whether a show's good or not, you don't need to start acting like a big Nancy as a result of it. You could say, I like that.
I walk around with the shirts on, but it doesn't mean that
But you don't have to go nuts. It's almost militant. It's almost asking for it, isn't it?
Crush, kill, destroy, swag. And that is from a Bites by Hot Diggity Demon, and that was meant what many people would consider to be Happy Tree Friends level of silliness. And complete and utter comedic aspect.
Well,
and that's bad.
We'll be back for another How Should I Know at some point. Where I promise we won't touch the subject of ponies whatsoever. But I'll let Lory get on with his pony touching.
Well, I have little toys with the brushy hair, apparently. Now do I?
Yes, I'll let you clop off that way. And I'll see you at the next video.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. Next video.
Normally I say tar to the ra, so I'll have to say tar to the ra to the tar are strong.
Oh dear God, are strong.